For the last year, I've been teaching AI for advertising, which is mostly image generation and copy generation for ads. And in fact, we've even been doing print, outdoor, television spots, experiential. And now we're going to be teaching AI for designers. And I've been teaching it to designers outside of the university and having great results with professional designers. It's pretty awesome. So just a little background. I asked ChatGPT, why is Ross Patrick speaking at this event? And Chat said, as a seasoned creative director with extensive experience at Nike, Capitol Records, and Deutsche LA, he offers his unique experience in advertising and design. Currently serving as the director and creative lead at the Academy of Art University in San Francisco, Patrick imparts knowledge to future art directors, writers, and designers on AI. I can't read in that voice, sorry. Anyway, it's kind of fun. I just did that. I was waiting to come up here and I asked Chat to just write that for me, and it did it for me like 5 minutes ago. So it's kind of cool. So everything in this deck that I'm going to show you are AI images and designs that I created. They're all in Midjourney. I'm glad I didn't try any DALL-E because, yeah. So really, I think the big question is, what can we do with AI? And a lot of people are skeptical, and I'm just going to show you a ton of stuff that you can do in AI. And we're not going to get too deep into the ethics, but to that earlier question, if you're going to try to steal an artist's look, whether that's a photographer, an illustrator, or famous artist, my advice is don't do it unless you're just playing around. You can do it for fun, especially in Midjourney, but like in any field of art or design, you can mimic, but don't rip somebody off. So without that lawyer talk, I'm going to go into packaging design. This is actually a project I'm working on for some clients in Napa, and they want to do some wine bottle design. So this is a seamless project. I didn't Photoshop these onto the wine bottles. It put it on there. So I start pretty traditional. We're doing typography and classic wine, and I even got it to write vino. Good luck. Try to get Midjourney to write a word for you. I bet you can't, but for some reason it did. Here it wrote Vink instead of vino, but I was willing to take that because this is just an experiment right now. I'm really looking at the overall designs of these. So I started out traditional. And by the way, this is like a corkscrew cap. So this is like a $9.95 bottle of wine. But as we know, the number one creative brief in Napa right now is how do we sell wine to, the younger Gen Z generation? Like, we got to get hip with it because a lot of stuff looks like this or not like this. This is me saying, hey, look, we could turn the dial a little bit and have some artsy fun stuff, or we could turn the dial a lot and we could go kind of crazy. These would be bottles that, it'd be hard to throw these ones away because they're pretty cool. And then a little bit more traditional. There's so many and such a diverse audience in the wine drinking world, from the super serious to maybe a little more abstract, a little more fun, still kind of with some of the responsible stuff that goes on in, hey, we got to talk about our terroir. But then I said, well, screw that. I don't think that the wine drinkers that they're buying a $10 or even a $20 bottle of wine really want to get all into that. We can put that on the back of the label or on the website. Let's do something that's collectible. Let's do something, that's really unique. So I played around with this, and the cool thing is on my prompts, I'm getting this result without having to Photoshop this stuff. So these are all just from prompting. This is actually from putting in the prompt, use a barcode on the label. And I got this really cool looking label. In fact, this might be my favorite label in the whole batch. Some other ones that are just kind of cool for the sake of being cool. And some that are kind of a blend of some of the abstract art with some typography. And I think typography is sort of the big head scratcher. Can you actually do typography and art in the same prompt and get some results. And then I went kind of more deeper to trying to get some type on the label. This one I called Boom. These ones sort of have what I was thinking was like maybe even the geological terroir with some like, longitude, latitude, elevation. Some other ones that are really sparse, a little bit more fun, kind of merging some of these. I was going to put this slide at the very end and just call it exit, but I was pretty happy with myself that I got the word exit to get up on the label. When you're doing any prompting in Midjourney, try to see if you can do this one. And then the question comes up, who's going to drink this wine? And so I created this girl, and she's drinking a lot of wine. Oh, sorry. She got like double fisted. But actually the prompt on this one was I was basically borrowing from a famous artist. I had no problem borrowing because I was going to disclose it. His name's Baz. He did a lot of Pall Mall cigarette ads back in the 50s. And okay, we're going to move into some brand creation. So recently a friend of mine was asking me to show him some AI, and he has a shoe brand. And I said, I could knock off your shoe brand over a cup of coffee in your living room. So I started doing this exploratory. And these are all images that I created to knock off his footwear and apparel brand. And at the time we were in Bend, Oregon. So I said, okay, it's going to be a Bend, Oregon footwear and like apparel company that does like hiking and mountain climbing. And it's all going to be sustainable and upcycled materials. And I'm going to pick a couple brand colors, primarily orange and black and gray. And then I was going to do all the casting for the photography, create all the products, the backpacks, the shoes, the jackets. So this is a little journey into that. And ChatGPT was our first place that we went to, and it wanted to call it a couple of weird names. So I just called it Up Mountain, and I sort of abbreviated it. And I wanted to just see what we could do. We did some shoes, some boots, some jackets. And I was really trying to think about what would the catalog or the website look like for this brand? And what would the product look like? And I think most people would be kind of stunned that you can get this kind of detail, even if you're not a footwear designer. But what's kind of cool is the logos and the graphics on the product, because that started to intrigue me. And then I was trying to do like a catalog page. I think I just basically lifted off a sort of hybrid of a hiking Air Jordan in this one. And then, just some other hiking boots and various sort of mountain climbing footwear, doing different prompts. And then I wanted to do like, what would the t-shirts look like? And I was thinking about catalog. So if anybody's ever done catalog work, it's not the advertising, it's showing off the product. And in this case, apparel graphics. So on the casting of your people, I didn't want like the typical Midjourney casting. So I worked really hard to get the kind of people that I wanted to be in my catalog. And then I wanted to get the kind of people that I wanted to work in my store. And I wanted to get the uniform that the people wear when they work in the store. So very specific prompting to get these kind of outfits and these kind of people and the mix of people. And I think those are some of the biggest challenges, because Midjourney is very biased as to what it's just going to kick out at the beginning. But you'll notice like the through line through all of this is there are graphics. There's little logos on their aprons. There's orange and blue and gray and black all throughout this. So no matter what, there's branding. I asked it to do some sustainable packaging. I did like tons of these bags. I had just a selection of them, but I thought it was kind of cool how it brought in some other colors. It brought in the olive green and this kind of slate blue and this sort of, wine colored red thing. And I didn't ask it to do that. I had just been going down the rabbit hole, and then it put these logos on the package. And I know this isn't going to be the logo, but I really liked that it was doing that. And I can easily Photoshop in the real logo once we get to that. But this was just really an experiment, me just messing around with this and trying to create a brand from scratch. And some of the weird hallucinations that happen in Midjourney are things like this. This was just me messing around trying to do a catalog page, and I got this freaky page that I can't really explain, but I love it. And one of the things you need to do as a scientist or an explorer or an adventurer into AI is be okay with these weird hallucinations and aberrations that happen. Like, this wasn't what I wanted, but I loved it and I thought it was cool. The copy here is actually written by ChatGPT about this thing. And we ended up going even deeper on some of this stuff. We'll get there in a sec. In the logo exploration, I didn't ask it to put the logo on these photos. I didn't ask it to put the logo on the backpack. But Midjourney, like a lot of AI, has a weird memory, and it remembered to put backpacks and mountains into these things. So when you get there, don't be surprised at what it's going to put it on. In this case, I was thinking about some other merch for the store, water bottles, coffee mugs, and other trinkets that would be sold in the store. And then I specifically wanted to get into the logo itself, and I'd never done logo prompts before. And this weird stuff happened where it was giving me these M's in these circles. And you know what? It's not what I wanted, but man, it was really cool. I loved seeing this. And then I kind of went further down it, and I actually liked how some of these were like a U and an M, sort of up mountain. And I was pretty happy with that. I actually think this would be a cool logo for the brand. It's got sort of the mountain in it. It's got the M. It's got the U. It's got this upward motion. I'm like, yeah, not too bad. Other stuff that we were doing was asking ChatGPT to write the catalog copy. And we were doing the images, but this isn't like DALL-E where you can do the prompt and then get the image. This was me doing some images and then going back and saying, hey, can you describe these products and give them names of Bend, Oregon mountains and streams and hiking trails? And then it even gave me the colors. I didn't tell it to do granite, mountain blue, and burnt sienna. And it wrote all the copy and it did a whole catalog. I wanted to share a couple of prompts. I'm not going to get super deep into it, but this says hiking ad for rugged Oregon outdoor apparel brand, full body, image of an up mountain backpack, meticulously crafted from reclaimed materials, stands proudly against the background of rugged outdoor terrain with trees and mountains, black, orange, and gray, 4K, aspect ratio 1:1, blah, blah, blah. So that's a lot of the stuff you're going to get. One of the things, though, that bugs me is that it really wants to put like LA fashion models in all of your stuff. And, you're going to have to work hard to get around that kind of like bias. This is just a demonstration of the copy that ChatGPT wrote just for the men's and women's hiking boots and shoes. Wrote all the descriptions out, did all the products, all the backpacks, jackets. I could go on and on for that forever. It's insane. Once you kind of have the imagery and then the idea for the copy, how you can play Chat and Midjourney together. Jackets. I really didn't know what I was doing with the jackets, but hey. So I wanted there to be an end game for designers in this. And you can say you're a product designer or you're a website designer or you're a logo designer, a packaging designer. So I wanted to do the website. I wanted to do the whole like homepage in one swoop and write all the copy and make it legit. So these are all images and all copy that were done just from that session, basically like a 2-hour session where I sat down and did this. I happened to have a web template from a previous project and I just adapted it for this. ChatGPT wrote this tagline, made from the past, built for the future. I thought that was a pretty cool way to say sustainable and upcycled. We did some products at the top. We did our whole sustainable tomorrow message with a bunch of images. We did our eco-friendly retail locations. We did a whole meet the team thing. We did, where does our fabric come from? It comes from ocean plastic. That's how we make all our fabrics. And there's one of our designers there. It wrote all the copy. And then, onward. Can we do some Facebook and Instagram ads? Sure, we can do that too. You'll see I even dropped in one of the logos on here, one of the images. It wrote all the copy in Chat. I wanted to see if we could actually put together a video script. So I asked Chat to do that, and then I pulled a bunch of the images from the catalog imagery, and I thought that was good, but it was kind of like more like a video that would just run in store what if we could get Matthew McConaughey to star in like a full-on TV spot and take it a step further? Almost got Matthew in here, but we did a full story. I'm not going to read you the entire script, but as you can see, there's this epic adventure. They're going hiking through the mountains of Oregon. They get caught in a storm. Matthew helps lead them out, and they have a glorious party around the campfire at the end. One of the team turns to Matthew and asks, "Are we going up the mountain again tomorrow?" And Matthew says, all right. So there's just kind of a recap of what the brand was we created. Really didn't have the logo at this point. This was just more like a mood board. I want to do a few other images that I've done for other clients. I had a client that's in the food business ask me if I could do some food for them. I'd never done food. I had no idea how to prompt for that. Just playing around, trying to get these things to go. And as a designer, you might be asked to do these things because you're doing a catalog or a menu or a website. In this case, they wanted like the farmer from Sonoma to appear in some of the promotions along with some packaging. I love the logo that it put it on, skunk. So maybe skunk is the name of the chicken. They also had pizza. I wanted them to do some images from around the farm, and I prompted Midjourney to get kind of freaky with it. I wanted to do the inside of the restaurant. Somebody had asked about a band earlier with the Dali. I asked it to do a band with the chickens from the chicken farm. It did that. It made these crazy chicken people as well. I would say for the most part, I'm not a person that does images in Midjourney that are weird and fantastical like this, but when you get them, it's sort of like a happy accident. Just embrace it and have some fun with it. In this case, we were designing the restaurant for this chicken restaurant. They've got fried chicken sandwiches. They've got all kinds of things. It designed that exterior. We said chicken coop. It did the interior. It actually put like a menu board there down in the bottom left. And then it did this beautiful chicken sandwich. We asked it if it could do a food truck for this same restaurant concept based on the sort of same inputs. And this is what it came up with. We always do about 50 to 100 images for each one of the ones I'm showing you. So this is just a very small slice. Here's some of the packaging for packaging designers. The to-go bag, another one, a little more upscale. What I really like about this is how it put the restaurant in the background. It kind of gives you some context of where you're having this meal. And I love the weird names and weird graphics. I know I'm going to go develop the identity and Photoshop it on here, but this gives me a really great head start. In the process of doing that trailer, I got the idea that I could do pop-ups for other clients. And one of my clients is in the alternative milk business, and they wanted us to do some pop-ups for sampling of this alternative milk. It's not made with cows. It's made with laboratory. It's made with fermentation. Let's put it that way. So what I did was I wanted to do a vending machine for milk and cookies, and I wanted to do it on the street in New York. And this is a couple of images out of thousands of images, but I wanted them to be not just a vending machine sitting on the street. I'm going to put our brand logo on it, and I'm going to put our cookies and milk and cookies in the machine, but I need to show this to the client. I want it to be super high tech, and I want there to be engagement. Clients are usually pretty literal. They want to go, well, are people going to engage with it? Are they going to like it? I did put our client's logo and graphics on this version. The client's called Strive. I put milk and cookies. We would have a brand ambassador team handing out coupons so you could just go up and get your milk and cookies. We also did a huge explore of what the cookies might look like. Even though this client's not in the cookie business, we would probably partner with somebody and make some cookies. I did literally hundreds, if not thousands of cookie packs. This is just one of them. But I thought, you know what? It's easy enough to drop our logo, because that's our round logo, into this thing and have our little snacks of milk and cookies for our street team. This is just one of the prompts that I put in for the vending machine. You can see the sort of array of machines: futuristic New York, busy street corner, people walking, people looking at an ultra futuristic white vending machine, tiny milk Tetra packs, and very small boxes of chocolate chip cookies, high-tech Tesla, Jonathan Ive, modern design, bright daylight, 4K. So I did drop in Jonathan Ives' name, if you guys know who he is, Apple. I wasn't getting results and I needed it to look high tech. This isn't something that is a ripoff of Jonathan's work. I just needed to get something that was going to look super futuristic so that when we do hire an industrial designer to do this, we could have a head start. I needed to sell the concept to the client first, and this is the image that the client sees. And then we would Photoshop this up and do it. We got a little bit more time. I'm going to do a couple of brand mashup things for you. A lot of hobbyist artists in Midjourney have done some mashups. I did one for a client, their Hershey's chocolate, and I said I was going to do Reese's peanut butter cups, but I was going to do a mashup with Patagonia hiking gear. So this was some of the early stuff, and it literally thought that we were in the Patagonia mountains with some chocolate bars. And then I wanted to do something more into the apparel world. Let's lean into the Patagonia side of it and do some Reese's peanut butter cup jackets. And I couldn't believe how cool this turned out. I have to say the first 100 attempts sucked. And then these ones started to come to life. I mean, honestly, the Hershey's client was saying, hey, we need to call Patagonia and do this at an event, maybe a trade show where we're going to make this product. But just down to the details of this stuff. Now, the graphics aren't the Reese's logo, but we got to that later. We did a whole bunch of other things with packaging. And if you're a packaging designer, you might think that you can't do this, but it can be done. We actually did a pop-up because I'm infatuated with pop-ups. When Hershey saw this, they're like, hey, we want to go to the fancy food trade show with this pop-up and have our Reese's trail mix and our Reese's, hiking energy clusters and all this backpacking stuff. And we're just going to wear the gear and have this as our product sampling booth at the trade show. We did some interiors. We did some other trade show booth stuff just for fun. A couple other things, some other weird stuff that happened. I actually really like this little trailer. I want to do it. This one I actually logoed up with Patagonia and Reese's on it. This one has the Reese's and the Patagonia logo on it as well. Some chocolate bars. This is the one that really got them excited. They were like, we want to do Reese's trail mix. So it can't do the Reese's logo, but it got pretty close at just putting that word in there, and we could easily Photoshop Reese's in there. But what really impressed me was the illustration style and the vibe of this and the product brand colors. It got the orange, the yellow, kind of threw in that purple brown. We did a ton of these things. And honestly, I took kind of a big gamble to show this to the client because they were just asking me to train them on Firefly and Midjourney and ChatGPT, not on doing their packaging, but I didn't want to show up empty-handed, so I did this. And honestly, it was kind of just a fun moment for them to see not only the graphic design, but look at the pouch and the details on the pouch. I mean, I had 30 designers for Hershey on the call, and they were freaking out at the pouch. But then the higher ups were like, hey, we actually want to take this to product development and marketing and see if they would be interested in doing this. So this is the prompt: Reese's peanut butter trail mix pouches, packaging design, neon colors, mountains, chocolate, Patagonia camping gear inspired chocolate bars, orange and brown branding, hybrid 4K, AR32. I think that prompt actually blew them away as well, because they were like, how did you come up with Reese's peanut butter trail mix? And I just said, well, I needed to show up with something, and that was the thing. So I think the thing here, really, just to kind of sum up, is that if you're a graphic designer, a packaging designer, a product designer, there's a lot of things you can do with Midjourney. We know that DALL-E is coming on strong. Turns out, actually, I had to switch gears after I showed this to Hershey's. They were not allowed to use Midjourney. They're only allowed to use Firefly. So I did a whole ton of stuff in Firefly, which I'm not showing tonight, but that's where the world is going. Adobe is building Hershey's, a private Firefly network with all of their brand, their entire brand library built into it, so they can play in a firewall protected environment and do things like this with their graphics. So that's all going to happen for not just for Hershey's, but think about every big brand is going to be able to do that. Just for giggles, I did some other things for Hershey's. I did Gucci, I did Chanel, Louis Vuitton. Kind of fun to try and get the letters on the chocolate bar. I did Levi's, a denim chocolate bar. Why not? Interestingly enough, Hershey said this looked like some of their original like packaging from the 1800s. And what was really impressive for them was the stamps and the graphics that actually went on the chocolate bar itself. So kind of cool. Look at the illustration that's on here. I mean, if you're a professional graphic designer, I challenge you to go recreate this in Adobe Illustrator and build this file out from scratch. Like it would be difficult. It could be done. Obviously, you'd need some illustration and some good fonts, some retro fonts, and you could do it. But this is insane as a sketch. I'm just going to probably wrap it up here. I'll just blast through these last ones just so you can see some more Gucci chocolate bars. So yeah, the question at the beginning was, what can we make with AI? And my answer is anything and everything. And yeah, that's it. During the pandemic, I was forced to become really good at Keynote, and I was trying to make it mimic ChatGPT. And some of my I teach ChatGPT, and some of them I have it mimic the chat, so it looks like we're live in chat. The problem is, as you see with a live demo, it's just too time consuming for me to do Midjourney. Just the clock is spinning. So a lot of this is just showing you the pick of the litter, the best stuff. And a lot of today was just to really address you guys as designers. The real trick is you develop your prompt. And a lot of my first early experiments was just changing one word. So let's say I'm trying to do, I'll just say a person. And I say, a 27-year-old guy with blonde hair, Italian, blue eyes, whatever. I'll just change it to German or French or Canadian or Australian or African-American. And just change that one prompt word to see what I get. And that taught me that I could do that with other prompts, just changing one word. Then the other thing I do is I'll just hit the very strong button 100 times. And I'll just and sometimes like on the 99th time, the best stuff happens. And you'll look at the prompt and it's saying blonde-haired German guy with blue eyes. And I've got like some girl with like flowing black hair. And you go, what the hell happened? So you have to be willing to put the time in, and you have to be willing to be a mad scientist if you're going to get results. So a lot of times I just have my window open over here while I'm doing other projects, and I'm just going back and letting it go, or changing that one word, or taking the front end of the prompt and the back end of the prompt and swapping them. Because when you lean on, the German guy with the blue eyes, but you want him standing on the top of a mountain and it won't do it, then I switch it. Standing on the top of the mountain, blah, blah, blah. Flip those prompts. And there are other tricks called seeding and other reference things that you can do in Midjourney. So a lot of stuff, I'm pulling a seed. A lot of things, I'm using a prompt word from the outside world to get a different result, like using Wes Anderson to get the weird Patagonia Reese's stuff, because it wouldn't get weird for me, so I threw his name in there. The secret is being creative with your prompts. I would say for anybody learning, go into Midjourney and be a prompt thief and look at some cool image that you like the style, steal that prompt, and then change it with your assignment. So, if you're doing a cheeseburger in paradise and you want it to be a watercolor painting, go find a watercolor on the Midjourney Explore page, steal that back into the prompt, and then put cheeseburger in paradise at the front. And you'll get a cheeseburger in some magical world as a watercolor, because that's what you're taking the back end from. It's the best, fastest way to learn. And you're going to fail less doing that. And then you're also going to be empowered and more confident to go make up your own prompts without having to go dig around and be a thief. But I mean, you're just experimenting right now. So I think you're fine by doing that method.